Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Freaks and Weirdos podcast. If you have missed the first episode, I highly recommend you go check that out. I talk with my good friend Ethan, aka Andreas, all about his journey through garage music, DJing, and his favourite moments. In this episode, I'll be talking to an upcoming band from York called Haertstrings. I first want to apologise for the quality of the video and the audio. We had to shoot this over Zoom, so it will be a little bit shoddy. I was also quite ill when I filmed this, so excuse my appearance, but I promise this episode is filled with some great moments. So, without further ado, let's get into the second episode. I should have started off with everyone introducing themselves if you want to do that, just so they know who's who and what you guys do.
Sure, I'm Luke. I play guitar with Haertstrings, and that's about it. But I'm Luke.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah. Most of my friends call me KJ. I'm the bassist and singer.
I'm Archie. I play guitars when Luke's unavailable.
And then I'm you, and I hit things quite loud in some sort of rhythm, and it looks out quite well.
He also plays with the band.
Yeah, I do that as well. That's more of a side job.
To be fair, his main gig is driving us around everywhere. So, very thankful.
On call chauffeur.
I wanted to first start off with the question where you got the band name Heartstrings from. Where did that begin?
We kind of deliberated with a lot of band names, a lot of which we thought were pretty awful for a while, and then landed on Haertstrings that I'm not entirely sure where it came from. It was your idea, wasn't it?
I don't remember either. I mean, we were picking between Head On and Heartstrings.
Yeah.
But Head On, looking back, Head On's really cool because I can imagine, in those biopics where they always start the movie with them going on stage for the first time, and they're all 50, and they're gonna play in front of a crowd, and they're like, "This is how we got started." And I can just imagine one of the audio texts saying, "Hey, you guys ready to head on?" And the manager, so I don't know. So that's really cool in hindsight. But
You're thinking legacy stuff here, man.
I've got a big ass head. I actually don't remember. I think it was just a nice pun, but then I thought, hey, the A and the E, they could get swapped around because there's that really obscure medieval letter with the A and E, and I thought, yeah, that would have been cool.
That was actually going to be my next question about the whole A and E, but you've done that.
Yeah, it just looked cool. I wish there were a deeper meaning.
I wanted to know how you guys actually met as well. How did you all form as a band?
Ewan's kind of the link, and Archie actually, I guess.
Yeah, me and Archie met from working together, and then sort of hired Luke. Well, we don't pay him. But
I met Luke in first year of university.
I met you actually.
Oh, wow. Well, when I showed up. I met Luke in first year of university, and we'd kind of been jamming together for a couple of years. And then we ended up working in a bar with another guy who was big on, he had a loud voice.
Yeah.
And we ended up forming a band through that. And then, unfortunately, we lost our singer bassist.
He's not dead. He just moved on.
I'm wearing.
Oh yeah, no, that's more morbid.
Things happened.
He's down south. He's as good as dead to me.
But then Archie bumped into KJ at an open mic and thought, right, we've got to get this guy in for the band. And from there,
Why didn't with cigarettes and
it's kind of
hope that bribing would work.
Honestly, it did, and I can't say that tobacco and drugs won't work. So. And yeah, I was just at a meeting jam. I was in a band beforehand. We only got together for about a week or maybe a couple of months, and it didn't really pan out because I wanted to do it full time. They wanted to treat it as a hobby, which is cool. But I've been playing music for a couple of years, on my own, streaming and whatnot, just jamming out and stuff. So I knew that it was something that I enjoyed. And when Archie got in touch with me, I was so nervous. I just remember going to the we had a kind of interview, I guess, so you met at an on-campus bar, and Luke was the first person I met, and I was just like, damn, this guy's so chill, he's so zen. I don't know, these guys aren't gonna want me in the band. And then we got to a couple of band practices. I started showing them a couple of my songs. They started showing me a couple of theirs, and the rest was just history. We really gelled together well, and we've
That's present. Not history yet.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Life is a gift.
That's Kung Fu Panda.
Is that Kung Fu
That's
Panda?
Kung Fu Panda.
Holy
Yeah.
Just Kung Fu
shit,
Panda,
I mean,
Master
maybe
Oogway.
Keep the Kung Fu Panda, but that's what I should say.
How did you guys find your specific instrument? Out of all the instruments there are, how did you find your way to find the one that you like?
My uncles played guitar, and they kind of persuaded me into that, and it just since 12 I've just played.
So yeah, I've been playing drums since I was 7 years old, so I don't really remember not being able to.
He still plays like a child, so you can tell.
Yeah, I still look like one of them.
I just did it to impress girls. It'll work someday.
Yeah.
I'm the only single one in the band, by the way. I don't know if you want to keep that in or not.
This is actually a OK Cupid interview.
Yeah, let's hope it is. I started playing guitar when lockdown started because it was my birthday a couple of days after lockdown. I thought, you know what, I need like some sort of transferable skill so that when lockdown ends and the interviews come with like jobs, like what did you do during lockdown? I could say, well, I learned the guitar and I started playing it for a while. I took a year out after that, and then I had nothing but time in my hands, so I just kept playing guitar. And then it was about a year and a half after that actually that I picked up a bass for the first time. So this was about a year and a half ago now. And yeah, I was playing like Killing in the Name of or something with just a couple of friends that were doing some studio work. I was just fucking around and I was like, Jesus Christ, I need this in my life. Like I felt the vibrations in places I didn't even know I had. And yeah, I just started playing bass from there. The singing was just kind of like accompanying the guitar. But yeah, after that, I was like, okay, this is something I can do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I don't, if you guys don't know, or if anyone at home doesn't know, but we went to high school together, me and Jeremiah, and I don't remember you playing any instruments. So I thought it was something that I completely missed, or if it was something that was new. But you started that lockdown. Was there a reason why you chose the guitar in general, or was it just?
Yeah, honestly, it was sort of fuck it. I was like, it's the easiest instrument, like an acoustic, so cheap, and I thought, I don't need to buy any like bells and whistles, cables, or anything like that. I can just get an acoustic and do whatever. And don't get me wrong, I sounded fucking awful for the first year. Literally, I have Snapchat videos of me living in like the private accommodation with my mates, and I was playing like I don't know, House of the Rising Sun or something, and I cringe looking back because Jesus Christ, it was so awful. So yeah, it was definitely not like a decision of just like, oh, this complements my musical palette or anything. No, I was just like, you know what, dude, fuck it. I just want to do something interesting. And I was, spending a lot of time indoors on my own. So it was necessary.
And where's that guitar now?
It's smashed to pieces, but it lives in my heart. It's in a fucking skip right now, yeah.
And with all you joined together, how would you describe the sound of Haertstrings as a band? Or what would you describe your sound as?
That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
We are all over the shop, honestly. Like we've got metal, we've got R&B, we've got disco, we've got funk, we've got a bit of everything, just all mushed into one weird mixture of genres. And somehow we've made it work. I'm still figuring out how.
Yeah,
but it works quite well.
It's kind of it's actually kind of tough because you said sound rather than genre. Usually we get asked like, what genre do you play and what genre of music do you make? But I've kind of been copping out by saying, we have a sound, not a genre, which feels a little more expansive, a little more cerebral.
We're not a band, we're an experience.
But yeah, it's weird. I feel like if you were to listen to one of our songs, you can kind of tell it's by us, even though it might actually cross different genres and stuff. So I think no matter what we do, we're quite like heavy hitting. I quite appreciate the fact that none of us, like there's always a background, but none of us play in the background. When we get on stage, we all have this energy. When we play together, there's this energy that kind of flows together. It's almost like we're just showing the best of ourselves and it's coming together and making something completely new. It's not like we're kind of arguing for space. It's not like we're too timid to be ourselves in front of each other. So I don't know what you'd call that in terms of a sound, but I mean, when the four of us play together, something fucking good happens. And
we're very noisy.
We are very noisy.
That's quite loud.
Yeah,
that might be my fault.
You're not helping, if, I can be honest, but that's just me as the other half of the rhythm section. But
some of the videos that I saw on your Instagram, and I noticed that you use quite alternative rock or punk rough sounds, loud sounds, like you mentioned. I wanted to know what it was about those sounds in particular that you like so much. Punk's quite rough around the edges. You know what I mean? So I wanted to know if there was any.
It's just sort of stuff with
the reason.
Yeah.
People are less likely to notice when I mess up if it's massive fuss
around it.
Buried in the mix. Yeah. When it comes to the songs themselves, I mean, I've written most of the songs that we've done, played live so far. In fact, I think so far all of them. We've got others in the works, so don't take that with take that with as much salt as necessary. But when they started out like writing them, they were just acoustic sort of la 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 sort of things.
That's
and
what
then
it sounded like. Yeah, Walk It Out was just
yeah, it was really weird that the vibe was so different than how they sound in person. And honestly, it's just so fucking cool to see them go from like these like almost just like homebrew Tumblr-esque acoustic covers to being like huge rock huge rock and roll. I don't know. I'm gonna call them anthems.
Incubate the egg and watch it grow.
Yes, am I meant to be sitting on an egg right now? I feel like
you are several.
Oh.
The songs, you know.
Oh, okay, right. That makes way more sense.
We've got a lot more in the
five.
works. Yeah, it's
And the eggs. And...
yeah. Don't put them all in one basket, mate.
Because then I'm gonna hatch.
But yeah, the sound, like I wrote the songs, so the chords and stuff are mostly my ideas, but the sound and how it's developed since has just come from these guys, and that is something that is entirely them. And you know, I'm just super grateful for even the opportunity to be here.
I was going to say, are there any other genres that you're looking into going into?
KJ is constantly like, funk definitely.
There's a lot of our local music scene, like some of the funk bands we're playing with and seeing live are so good.
Mm-hmm.
You want to emulate that style and like that's still. But like inspired by that's
I'm in a lot of a sort of a funky writing mood at the minute. So sort of write a funky song and then put our own spin on it. So it'd probably end up a bit more sort of funk rock kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still in the works. So I'm thinking
for reference, some of those local bands, one of them is called Ghost Ship, another one is called Jensen Ginger, and another one is called Flat Moon. Those are the three, I think.
Big three.
They're really
incredible, lovely people too. Like we've met them. I know some of them personally. Like we hang out sometimes. They just are. And the music is great too. York is actually a really great scene for that. I wasn't expecting it. Like when I got up here, I wasn't into music at all. And over the last few years, it's actually been really surprising to see how many people are involved in music here, and the fact that there is so much diversity within the different genres.
Bands, right? This year.
Sorry,
biggest battle of bands.
Yeah,
this year, I think.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. You go. You say it. You're involved in the committee.
Yeah, I am involved in the committee actually. To build off of that, like apparently we're the biggest. This uni's band society is the biggest in the UK. It's got 40 active bands or something like that, and the battle of the bands is going on right now. It's insane, but yeah, so many. It's so much skill. It's just really cool to be here again.
I wanted to touch base on your creative journey into making music. How do you guys make songs? I know it's kind of difficult to say, but do you go for a feeling first, or is it lyrics usually, or is it just kind of it's different each time?
I guess it differs on who's come up with the idea.
What level the song's at when it's brought into the studio, if it's fully written song, or if it's an idea that's getting flashed out.
A lot of when we first started the band, a lot of the songs were, as KJ said, just like lyrics and acoustic lines that he brought, and then we've taken and adapted into a full band. Nowadays, what we're doing a lot more is recording demos at home and bringing them to bands as more sort of complete songs, which probably sort of impedes the creativity of it a bit, just sort of working on a song all together at once. But it does not
Have you got something you... He hasn't brought this up to us before.
I said that in the wrong way, but yeah, it's I prefer it. But we'll have to see.
I mean, honestly, it's way better. I say better. It's nice to not just bring ideas to the studio and say, okay, this is a song I wrote. I really want it to sound like this. So could you play something like this? Could you play something like that? Because as much as I might have an idea for what a song sounds like in my head, I don't want to have all of that creative control. And these guys, don't get me wrong, I think I'm an okay musician in my own right, but these guys are just technically they're better musicians than me. So I don't feel very, I mean, it's okay, we can be nice about it, but that's just true. You've been playing longer, you have an actual understanding of music theory and stuff. So I don't feel comfortable saying, okay, well, you shouldn't use a plagal cadence here or whatever the fuck, but you should go to the diminished. I can't say shit like that. So I'm just okay, it might need a bit more could you play something
more strongly toned, talk it out.
Can you make it a bit more crunchy?
That would be that's more my vibe. And that's way easier to do if you give people the time and you don't just show up in the studio, say once or twice a week to do it. If you have a recording that you put somewhere and that you can just let people cook on it in their own time. So when it came to writing the songs, at least personally for me, they were songs that I just wrote for me to play on my acoustic at home. I wasn't planning on having anyone see them or have anyone work on them. But now that we've kind of gotten into that process, I'm getting more used to thinking about the song structure, thinking about the development of the song and how to make it easier for other people. So I don't know, when it comes to writing the lyrics, I tend to just write what comes to my mind. I haven't actually written many songs recently. A lot of the songs that we're working on are songs that I've written either earlier this, I say earlier this year, like late last year or sometime last year. But yeah, some of my songs are about like sex and love and stuff. And I'm not in a relationship. I've been single for at least like dating casually or single for quite a while. So, so like I'm taking my heartbreak and putting it into songs. Honestly, if something just like feels like a vibe and I feel like someone somewhere could listen to it, then I'll write it down because that's a nice it's a nice start.
But it's not just relationship lyrics as well, is it? We've got songs about all sorts of stuff, haven't we?
It's true.
Like between sort of hung up on poetry and continued more violent end of our songs, at least lyrically. It's a nice little mix.
Yeah, we got some good stuff. I like it's actually cool that we kind of went for the band name Haertstrings because that can mean so many different things,
Yeah.
In our heart we feel every emotion. It can be love, it can be passion, it can also be anger, frustration. So no matter what we write, it's always like, yeah, it fits the vibe of the band. Like it was all intentional. Yeah, that's that's
No,
it.
that's a really good answer. No, that's literally what I was looking for. You've already kind of answered what I was about to ask next, but I was going to say, as musicians, do you find yourself making music mainly in a studio, or do you come up with ideas a lot of the time outside of a studio and you bring it in? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'd say for most of us, probably definitely the second one. We play around with stuff at home, then bring it to the studio and say, "This sounds cool. I think. What do you guys think? Is it cool? Is it cool?" But yeah, we sometimes come up with ideas in the studio, but I'd say more often we just play around with some chords at home.
And then bring it in.
Yeah.
And the rest of us go wild.
Yeah, there have been some times where like we bring an idea in and we start jamming it through and it just kind of comes together like that. And it's just lovely to see.
So like,
yeah, insane.
It's very magical.
Like every time we played it, first 3 or 4 times we played it, it changed entirely and just kept getting better.
Yeah,
like, I don't think we really talked through what we were doing with it. It just
came together.
I think
a day.
like the fleeting nature of like kind of spontaneous stuff like that is always very magical, but also like if we don't remember it, like we're like, oh, what was that thing we did earlier? That was really cool. Like, yeah, it was cool, but I have no idea what it was.
Yeah,
my next question was going to be, where's the strangest place that you guys have come up with a song, or at least recorded a song together?
We're pretty vanilla actually in terms of locations because we've only gigged at one place and we pretty much only record and practice at one place.
Right here.
But besides that, I guess like rarely I'll like have a melody in my head away from the instrument and then come back to it later.
Get it where you want to bus you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just went like do to try to get the rhythm down.
Yeah.
I get like song ideas at just the weirdest times.
3 in
the morning. I'll just like,
it's always that time you don't have a but I get it at work.
That's the problem. I'll get just like a riff or a beat in my head. I did it for that funky song I've written. I'll just wake up at 3 a.m. with this going through my head and then suddenly just get my phone out, do a voice note of me just humming it into my phone and then
it was revealed to me in a dream.
The next question I was going to ask is a bit deep, but I was going to say, what have you learned about yourself in your music journey so far as individuals and kind of as a band? If there's anything you've learned about yourself.
I guess I've learned that I just fucking love playing gigs. It's just the best thing. Yeah.
I love attention. I'll admit it. I need to be stared at.
Yeah.
I
can do that for you if you want.
Oh God, please, not on camera, guys. I've learned that there is so much more to me that I need to know about myself. It's frustrating. I don't know. When I play music and I'm really into it, I never know what kind of energy that's going to feel like or look like until it happens. And then there's a part of me that craves that in like my everyday experience. I want to have that kind of focus, that kind of sense of being in tune with everything. And when I don't have it, if I'm brushing my teeth or having a shower, just doing things in general, I kind of get a little frustrated. I'm like, what am I not doing now that I should be doing to make myself feel like I'm in the moment? And I don't know, it's kind of given me a dragon to chase, a version of myself that I want to be more. And I didn't realize that person existed inside of me. So I'm very excited to discover more about that. But yeah, it's a very egotistical answer, but hopefully I'll get myself on top of it soon.
I also wanted to ask if there was any challenges that you've experienced in your creative journey, whether that be through writing songs or nerves, like when you're about to go on shows, you've learned that you're quite nervous on stage. Is there anything that has been a challenge in your creative journey so far as individuals?
A big one is when we do this one song where I play bass and I take it from KJ, and because KJ, he just gets very excited, he gets rather sweaty. I always inherit this like really down bass very voice. It's not the anyway. That it's a little thing.
Okay.
I feel like the question was
It's a challenge.
It counts. I like
Oh
it.
no,
It's a good
actually,
answer.
no,
I feel
I
like you just
a big one is definitely just getting time together. Like we all work, or I think uni and work full time, so it's just sometimes tricky to like arrange things.
Lining it all up can be a bit difficult sometimes. We end up usually doing it at least once a week.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Hopefully that'll change soon.
Yeah, it's quite hard to organise sometimes, but we managed to do it.
I'd say like in terms of singing, I didn't realize how psychological singing would be. If there's a day where, regardless of whether I have a cold or a sore throat or something, if I'm not feeling it, or if I'm in my own head, or if I'm not really having a great day, then my singing is always going to be impacted, or it feels like it's always going to be impacted. And that's something that I don't quite get as much when I'm playing guitar, playing bass. I feel like I can still be quite consistent on those, like technically and skill wise, but singing, I don't know, man, it comes from the heart in a place that is very hard to just like read up a book on how to do scales for. At least in my opinion. I'm sure there are plenty of other singers out there that have a different experience and different story, but yeah, one challenge is just kind of like having what I want to have from my musical ability when I need to have it, and that's very frustrating because it feels like it should come from within. It feels like it should be something you can just like turn off and on like a tap, but maybe it will get there eventually. We'll see.
I don't think that ever happens though. I think it's really difficult to kind of just turn it on and off. Sometimes when you really want to get it out, it doesn't come out, and it's a bit of a struggle there. I wanted to talk about live shows as well, and ask what your favorite parts about being live, like playing live, is.
I think we can definitely like tell, oh, that was a great night, or that was not the best. And I think generally it's just playing really well together. And it's just enjoyable. It's obviously we feel better about ourselves having played a good gig.
I like seeing the crowd go, man.
Yeah,
Again,
and,
it's the
also
attention thing. Like,
the energy you put in there and the energy you get back is also like very fulfilling, and rewarding.
From the videos that I see on your pages, there's a lot of mosh pits that happen. I wanted to ask what it'd be like. What's it like being the cause of one? Having that crowd control and seeing everyone go fucking mental.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
I've seen KJ's
dude.
pants. Like they get some stains come out.
Okay, that is true. But dude, it's insane. Like when we were playing at the Battle of Bands, there were a couple other bands that were playing, and no shade to them, they were all fantastic. It was a very tough competition, but I noticed that they were like asking the crowd to get down and stuff when the climaxes of their songs were happening. And when we went up and played and we did the song that Luke was talking about, I just got down and everyone followed suit, and I didn't have to say anything or anything like that. And that was like, even in the, I guess I wasn't thinking about it in the moment, but looking back, I was just like, holy shit, like I'm just doing this, being myself. We're just being ourselves, and other people are like resonating with that. And not only are they resonating with it, but they want to like get involved with it. And that was something that I just didn't even know was possible. And Jesus Christ, I need that. I want to play live again as often and as soon as possible, because just, oh God, that feeling is like, it's like Martian powder, man.
it's a little bit awkward having to kind of like just remain stood up and still playing while everyone's like doing like a get down thing. I'm like, if I crouch down, I'm just like a guitar.
A couple of times I stood up, and one time I was like, oh, why don't I just get down like everyone else?
Well, that makes it worse for me because then I'm the only one stood.
Yeah.
How's are you gonna get down?
I just bow down as far as possible. Just keep going. And that's the song that we always play. That song Zealousy last, where sort of KJ just takes the mic and goes a bit wild, Luke's on bass, and that's always the song that seems to resonate with the crowds the most. They always go a little bit crazy for it. It's definitely one of our favorites to play.
I think getting you in the crowd and having that kind of connection, sort of breaking the fourth wall in that way.
The first time maybe not the first time we played it, but one time we played it at, I think, the second heat of the Battle of Bands we did.
After I Tell Lies.
So really high energy punk bands who played just before us.
Wait to
and they just killed it. I think KJ actually got a shout out from them for just like going crazy in the crowd and like do be like this guy. But I would say without a doubt they kind of instilled us with this sense of, we should probably do that. And I think we followed it.
Do you guys feel comfortable on stage? Is it something where you feel present, or is it still something you're kind of getting used to?
I'm usually quite comfortable on stage. It's something that I've done for a while, so I'm kind of used to it. But there's usually a little bit of nerves in the build up to going on, but then once you're there, it's just like, okay, this is
Like when you get the
absolutely
bra thrown at you.
Yeah,
No, that's funny.
every time someone keeps doing it, I can't stop them.
No, I think I'm definitely like learning to, at least I'm not fully comfortable. I'm always aware like someone's looking at me, and even when I feel like I'm letting loose, somebody will also like, yeah, you were a bit like, rock solid that you didn't let loose. And I was like, oh, I thought I did, but
Interesting. That's weird.
yeah. I just struggle to like fully let go, I guess.
I don't know. Your energy always you always give a good energy. It's always noticeable, and it's
always have
like
a little boogie towards the left hand side of the stage.
Yeah, I need to give more probably.
Interesting. Well, don't listen to them. I think you've got everything.
Yeah,
you need.
fuck those guys.
Yeah, you do it exactly how you want to fucking do it. Nothing more, nothing. Yeah, personally, I don't know. I love being on stage. I'm a very socially anxious person, but when I get up there, it's like I'm a different person completely. It's I don't know. It feels like I'm just meant to be there, and it's almost like walking a fine line. In the I want to make sure I'm hitting the right notes and I'm staying in time and everything, but there is also just a part of me that's just like fucking happy to vibe. And so I've got like that on one side and trying to get things right on the other, but it never feels overwhelming to the point where I shut down from it. It's like no matter what happens, I always want to keep pushing forward and keep trying to do a little bit better and go a little further. And yeah, that's
if we're not having a good time, then the crowd's not having a good time.
I'm always gonna have a fucking good time. Yeah, someone's got to.
There's a question for Jeremiah as well. When I was listening to the videos and your songs, your singing voice is very unique. You go in your low chest and kind of go up into your high in the head voice, then back to chest. I wanted to know where the inspiration for that came from, where you found your sound and your voice, or was it something that you've kind of just came up with on your own, or was there any other outside inspirations?
I used to, for the first like year or two of playing guitar, I just like played singing along with songs. I was more focused on the guitar than the singing. So singing was never really my focus. It wasn't until I got back to uni after my year out, and I've been playing for about a couple of years at that point, that I was asked by friends that do audio tech and stuff if I could record some vocals for their songs and whatnot. But so I wasn't really thinking about my voice up until then. One thing that really inspired me was Jimi Hendrix's guitar. For example, there's like on Voodoo Child, he'll do this cool thing with his wah, where he's like, wah, 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 wah. And I didn't know how he did that effect. I had no idea about guitar pedals or anything like that. So I was like, okay, cool. I can probably sing something a little like that. So I ended up making it like a, and then I kind of like got into the practice of using that kind of lilt in my voice and like following the resonance of that. And yeah, I don't know. I think I was actually quite fortunate because I think I had like a pretty good core and diaphragm, which is something I didn't even realize before that point. Something that I'm actually kind of getting more conscious of now. And I have to actively work on it. But yeah, I just didn't realize that I already had like good breath work. So that made like singing long notes with either going low or going high quite easy. At least, but then like chaining them together was kind of tough. It's hard to describe. I was never like consciously thinking I should do this to improve my singing or I should do that to improve my singing. I was just kind of having fun with what I was doing and trying not to just think of myself as a singer, but more as like just an instrument or like a sound box, I guess. So like if I wanted to do some effects and like modulate my voice or something, I'd give it a go. And then eventually I think that kind of builds into like different vocal runs. For example, okay, for example, like in one of our songs, Talk It Out, like na 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 yeah na 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 yeah 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 yeah. Like I don't know, if I were trying to like just sing it as if I were in the shower or sing it like karaoke, I think I'd put more gut into it. But when I sing it and I'm trying to do a studio thing, I think I sing quite nasally actually. But I do my best to make that nasal sound feel more like an effect rather than a tone of what I'm singing, if that makes sense. It's very hard to describe. I don't have any like technical practice or experience with it, so I'm just kind of saying what it feels like. But yeah, I think trying to sing as nasally as possible without making it sound nasal is what I try and do.
When I watched videos of you guys performing, the audience seems like a very big mix of people, all different races, all different hair colors and tattoos, piercings and fashion senses. I was just going to ask, what's it like kind of being almost a home for all these different kinds of people to come together and just have fun for a few hours?
it's definitely different from Luton.
Mm.
I'm not the person with the most like international background here. But you know, Luton has like such a diversity of heritage, and it's really fucking cool to like be in York, which is quite I wouldn't say like a conservative, but almost like a traditional English place. You know, it's very villagey. It's kind of got that medieval feeling to it. There are basically, I mean, there are a lot of white people and not a lot of non-white people. But the music scene is really good here because you know it kind of goes to show that you know not all black people listen to urban, not all Asian people, for example, listen to a certain kind of genre, and you know like people appreciate music from different genres, and not only that, but people will be able to express themselves in ways that you wouldn't necessarily um, assume they would. In fact, unfortunately for me, you know, when I do play, sometimes there are people that come up to me and say, "Okay, I want to hear a bit of reggae. What do you think of reggae or urban music or that kind of thing?" And I'm just like, you know what, dude? Like, you don't need to put me in a fucking pigeonhole just for you to like confirm your biases. And I think a lot of people here don't do that. Honestly, some of the older locals, they mean it like they mean well when they say it, but it can get frustrating. Um, but amongst my peers and the people that I play with and the people that host the venues, there isn't anything like that. And you know, as a person that was like not super into rock music when I started playing music, but has definitely gotten into it more since, I was kind of worried. I was thinking, you know, I'm a black guy playing stuff that's like either my songs or not, like kind of non-standard songs or songs that aren't super popular or mainstream. I don't know how that's going to go over. But it seems to have gone over well. So yeah, the scene's quite nice.
It's really inclusive in York as well. I think
Yeah.
the whole uni scene has helped a lot with it. We were saying a lot with sort of the local scene and the uni scene have kind of joined together, something so to speak.
This last year has been really wonderful.
It's led to a lot of inclusivity.
Yeah, for sure,
which is great.
On your Instagram, Jeremiah, you bring up a lot of current world affairs, such as the whole genocide in Palestine and everything. I just wanted to ask: are you looking into incorporate political views and world situations in your music, sort of like Rage Against the Machine, or is it something that you're going to keep separate but still talk about?
No, 300 and fucking 50.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I was just like,
No, that was
very...
it. That was it. You take away. Have the mic.
Yeah, 300%. 350%.
I was gonna say you went down there.
Oh,
yeah, my passion
he's bouncing around.
Yeah, there are songs that I've written already that are quite political in nature. In fact, some of my favorite songs that I've written are political in nature. You know, one of the songs that we've been working on, it's called Doom and Bloom. And its first lines are: "Their hands are tied in chains of gold, another change is put on hold. Instead, around is passed about beneath the floorboards handed out by people that sit up in ivory towers, something like that." Yeah, people that sit up on towers of green and ivory are the powers that be. Yeah. My point with that was just that apparently, and I wrote this after finding out that there's a pub underneath fucking Parliament, and everything there is free. The MPs can go and drink there for free, and it's getting paid for by our tax like money, which was insane to me. Oh come on, we're getting fucked over no matter whether it's across the pond or not. But like that kind of shit is insane, and so there's a part of me that really wants to highlight that. And I feel like if I'm gonna go through with music and like have a platform to actually say this kind of thing, then I'm not gonna like forget because I grew up really fucking poor. I don't think many people in like grow up in Luton like had like a super advantageous like lifestyle growing up, and that's like a part of me that I can't forget. And it's weird to kind of be in York where things are like more it seems like things are more privileged. Like the city in general just seems a little more like middle class, a place where you can go to retire. So it seems like there's a big lifestyle shift between like what I experienced growing up and what you may be more familiar with like living in Luton, as opposed to being here. And so yeah, man, I feel like there's a way to express like legitimate frustrations with what's going on in the world through music that doesn't just have to be like one or two words that are kept as like a throwaway line in a song. I think you can make an entire song or an entire album about something politically sensitive and still have it be good music, but also be like have a good message behind it. And that's like a fine line to walk, and it's one that I've been like really trying to do. But yeah, it's something that I'm not going to give up on because it should be said. It should be said, and if I have the opportunity to say it, then I goddamn will.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Continue, which is one of our kind of more pointed songs. I like opening with Black Seas. It's almost like a sort of slam poetry read over this sort of very noisy, discordant background. A lot of our songs do get kind of goofy, kind of fun. Later in the set, it gives a more serious tone and a, you know, a kind of hint to maybe listen to the message behind some of this a bit more and sets that tone early on.
It's like an intro to the set, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, like before you take your shoes off, just remember that we're here to appreciate and like enjoy things with other people, and that doesn't mean we ignore the bad things going on in the world. In fact, we celebrate and be with other people because there are bad things not only happening, but that we can help fix. And that it kind of comes back to the point that like self-love is one of the most political things you can do. That is activism on like a personal level. And so if you're going to be around people and enjoy music and enjoy something that really resonates with you deeply, then that should motivate you to do things that help others, not just be something that like it helps you escape the thought of it, you know? And I think that's easy to do with the lifestyle that we lead. It's very easy for us to kind of say, okay, this is all happening behind the screen. I can just log off of Instagram, or I can just like ignore it and go about my business and, you know, like give myself self-care and work on my mental health because I'm not seeing all of these like terrible things that are happening around the world. But I don't think it's right or fair to enjoy life by ignoring those things. I think we should enjoy life because we can help do those things. And sometimes that's music, sometimes that's fundraising, sometimes it's protesting, but it's never just one of those. It has to be more than a single thing. So yeah, a little bit of that does come into the music, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect answer. I wanted to ask if there was any advice that you guys have for anyone else out there in the creative industry, just in general. If there's any advice you'd like to give.
Have a lot.
What that face? That face.
Oh my god.
I think if you're not having fun with it whilst you're doing it, then find a way to, you know, actually enjoy yourself whilst you're making music. Because at the end of the day, it's something that you're doing for other people to consume, and if you're not enjoying it, then they're not going to. So I think it's a very fun thing to get into, at least for me.
I don't feel like I'm in a position to give advice. Just about anything.
Do you want to go?
Got nothing.
Damn, I feel like okay. I have a very active imagination, and it's not something that got applied to music until the last couple of years. So I can definitely remember parts of like me growing up in my adolescence and young adulthood where I had all this creative energy, but it wasn't going towards music. I was actually much more of a writer. So I'm working on a novel, screenplays, that sort of thing. And it's been interesting to see my creative like style shift when it comes to writing as opposed to when it comes to music. Music, I feel like it's almost like a force of nature. When I write something, I feel like it very much comes from within me and I'm describing my own internal world. Even if, you know, a character may be a villain and blah, 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 they'll do like fucked up things. It's not like I want to do those things. But with nature, like with music, when I sing something and I feel it, I don't know, it feels like a representation of me. And it's almost like there's a kind of like a little river, a little stream, a little creek that has been kind of like opened up now that I've like tried to open my ears to music. And I want to keep my toes dipped in there, you know? So in terms of advice, I suppose what that means is like when you have that current of things that just feel good to you, that feel like creatively helpful or that makes you feel like you're in the zone and enjoying it the way you should be, hold on to that. You don't need to fight for it. It can't be taken away. It can't be given to you. It's something that you can access within yourself, and that is always going to be the case because and it has been said, I forget the name of the person. In fact, this is slightly tangential. I was watching an interview with a person that was like a former slave. And this was almost a century ago now because they were a really old guy at the time. But they said that, you know, like your humanity can't be taken away from you. People can try and trick you into thinking it's taken away. They can try and like make the institution attempt to take it away from you. But the reason why they try so hard is because it can't be done. So when you have something within you that you enjoy and that you love and that you want to cultivate it, nothing can stop you from having that and making it grow if that's what you want. You may need to look within yourself and figure out if that is what you want. But if that is what you want and you want to put your heart behind it, then your heart will follow that. And you've got your own back, essentially, especially when it seems daunting and difficult because Jesus Christ, man, I've like music has gotten me through some tough times. I remember like there have been days where like I've walked home from playing like busking or having an open mic and I've just sat on a bench and just like fucking cried my eyes out because I'm thinking like, Jesus Christ, am I this bad? Have I not like put in enough effort over the years? What more do you want from me, life? And then, you know, but this was before we even played like the Battle of the Bands and before we got like the record deal and all that kind of thing. So, you know, and now I'm going through a time where it feels sort of similar. I'm not at my best. I'm not at my A game. And I'm kind of thinking, damn, am I doing something wrong? Am I, kind of like missing something? Have I missed a beat or something like that? But I've already gone through times like that, and I know that on the other side there'll be something good that comes out from it. So this time I'm gonna persevere, and I'm not gonna lose hope. And if hope's all I have, then hope's all I fucking have. And if that's the only thing that people can hear on the records that I record, then that wouldn't be too bad for me. So yeah.
To hear the guitars as well.
Oh, the guitars. Yeah, I'm more a bass guy, to be honest. As long as it
Yeah.
makes it terrible, then I'm over easy.
Another deep question I have. Sorry, I have a lot of deep questions. I do apologize, but I just wanted to know if there was anything in the creative industry that you would like to see change.
Better inclusivity to women, I think, and people of color. Yeah, I don't know, just stuff like that. It's very, you know, I mean,
Still a bit of a boys' club. Innit?
yeah, most record labels are just old white guys, you know.
I'd like to see a bit more of the punk attitude come back to a kind of a resurgence of not just independent art as, you know, has exploded over the last 2 decades of access to, you know, uploading your music for streaming and stuff, but a kind of rebellion against
streaming services,
the way records are being made, the way money is shuffled about behind the scenes of the industry. I want to have music that is actively deconstructing that, as opposed to just trying to exist in spite of
it. Confidence is a big thing for me. I see a lot of, like, I'm on the band's committee. I'm deputy head tech for the band society here, so I do a lot of the tech work and stuff. The gigs that this university puts on, and I see so many people that are either really good or can be really good, but they just don't have like as much confidence as they should. I think there's this element of like, because I don't know, but there seems to be this element of you have to be humble, and if you're not humble, then you're going to somehow get worse because your ego will drag you down. You're flying too close to the sun. I don't think having confidence in your abilities and knowing that you're good is anything to do with not being humble. And the reason why I say that is because you can kind of see it when people get on stage. The way that they sing to themselves or the way that they may sing on their own is way different than when they sing on stage sometimes. And that may be because of nerves. But it would be nice for, I don't want to say like that rock star attitude to come back, because I think everyone has it. But it would be nice to see people more confident in their ability, because like everyone here is, they will all, everyone compliments each other. They'll say your playing was fantastic, blah, blah, blah. And then that person will almost always be like, it was okay. You know, like, thank you. But, you know, yeah, I can do more. Like, I don't think that's necessary. And I think some people try to, they want to be humble because they may doubt their abilities. But I just want to shake them and tell them, like, you don't have to. You didn't hear how you sounded up there. Like, go and fucking do it again. You are awesome, and keep going. And I think that attitude will not only like be something that affects their music, but something that affects their stage presence as well. And I think stage presence is almost like, it's a significant part of the music making experience, because a vibe is something that goes beyond just like how loud your amp is, you know? But yeah, confidence, man. A lot of these young ones need confidence. Don't know why I said
The last bit is just to say if there's anything if there's anything coming up that you guys would like to promote and mention to the like 2 people that are going to watch this. I'm joking. But if there's anything coming up that you'd like to promote.
We got singles coming out at the start of April.
A single.
We've got a single coming out at the start of April, which is going to talk it out. It's going to be brilliant. Hopefully,
the announced release date, is it, or
TBD?
TBA still, but
Under wraps.
And then we've got loads of gigs coming up as well. If anyone wants to make the trek up to York, see that the Fulford Arms. Chances are, if it's a day towards the end of March or the start of April, we're there. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Is that everything?
I think so.
So yeah.
Fantastic. Sweet. That is the end of the episode. I'm really shit with outros, so if you guys could do an outro for me, that'd be fantastic. Because I'm fucking awful with them.
Same time, same channel next week. No.
How about we do a little rendition of Talk It Out, but we
all do our parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give us the heartbeat.
1, 2, 3.
On our second day. For the first time, actually, over you. Yeah. Oh my god, you could have made this any harder. For the high crime of being just the water and vanishing with a bite, with a stab, with rolled up sleeves and a local bell. woes disappear. Oh, keep your skirt on there, darling. I like the view. I don't want to talk it out.
Got it. Scrap it.
That's better than